Hey everybody! It's been a hot minute since we have done an Instagram Live. I am Sarah from Polished Pinkies, and I am coming on here to show you a removal using the Polished Pinkies Pro E-File. This is the Expert 30K, and then also the SheMax. So we haven't talked about the SheMax in a live. Have we done it before, Sheridan? Oh, when it first came out. Yeah, we have done them.
We've done it with my hands.
We've done them earlier, that's right. So we haven't done it in a hot minute. So I wanted to come on here and show you some tips and tricks to make your machine work the best for you and to really be able to collect the most dust. A couple of things before we get started. This is Susie, she's our model.
Mama Suze!
And then Sheridan is on camera. So if you have any questions, please let us know. And Sheridan can help pipe in with any of the information that might be helpful to any of you. So we have the Polished Pinkies Expert 30K E-File, and today I'm going to be using a couple different bits, and that is just to show you that when you're using different bits, depending on what bases that you are removing, that the particle size and the dust path can be a little bit different. So if you are feeling like it's still going everywhere, you might want to change your bit, but we'll get to that in a minute. Anyway, we are using the Polished Pinkies Pro Expert 30K E-File. Currently these are out of stock, but we do have some en route.
Yay!
And as soon as I can confirm that they're in the US, which is hopefully tomorrow, I'll be able to put them on for pre-order, and then we'll be able to ship them out next week. So everybody, fingers crossed. And hopefully we'll be able to do that. So watch for that to go on pre-order tomorrow night if you have been waiting for those to come back in stock. Today I'm going to be using the boa bit. And this is so we have a boa and then a baby boa. The baby boa is just a smaller version of this. This is a medium grit carbide, and it removes kind of in a shading motion, or not motion, but like, how do you say that, pattern? Like the dust that is removed is more like a shaving rather than a chunk. Yeah, it's a very gentle removal bit. Then I'm also going to be using the plush, which also creates a more gentle removal. It's not super aggressive. And then I'm also going to be using the Big Thunder. Now this one is the most aggressive bit that Polished Pinkies has, and you're going to see that it's going to be a different dust. Instead of a fine shading, it's going to be more...
It's more like chunky.
More chunky.
Yeah.
I mean, it's difficult to explain, but when you're removing rubber bases with this guy, sometimes it can like chunk toward your face because this is really gripping and pulling off. So for rubber bases, we suggest the plush or the boa or even the nectarine. And then for hard gel, which is what we're removing today, or for acrylic, you would use the Big Thunder. I'm going to be working at 30,000 RPMs. Don't panic. Don't panic. If you are new to using an E-File, I would suggest starting at 20,000 RPMs. So with E-File and removal, you don't want slow and steady because that will create heat. You want fast and smooth, but fast is usually having enough torque and enough power like the Polished Pinkies Expert 30K has, so that I can just glide the product off the nail. So the more speed, the more smooth the removal, the quicker the removal. Don't be afraid. So if you're brand new, start at 20, and then every couple of clients, maybe go to 22, 24, 26, 28, all the way up to 30. So that's to all of you who are like, I'm sorry, huh?
Okay. It is terrifying.
It is terrifying.
30?
It is a little scary. So I'm going to be working with this on full power so that you can hear the sound, and then I'm going to give some tips and tricks. Mama Suze, if you'll just let me know if it gets warm at all, or if it's uncomfortable in any way.
Eric Jensen says, I always wear a mask when I grill. Is it safe to remove it using the SheMax? I guess she's asking if it's safe to remove the mask using the SheMax.
Yes, as you can see, like here, I have no dust here, so it's not flying up at my face. The SheMax has enough power that it's going to really suck down all of the dust particles.
I think wearing a mask is kind of a personal preference too.
I do think it's a personal preference. I have never worn a mask. Ioana actually encourages me to wear a mask because I do have contact dermatitis and my nose runs. She said that when she started wearing the mask, her nose stopped running. So I think if you have an allergy, definitely wear a mask. but as you can see, no particles are coming up at my face. You can see I'm working at 30,000 RPMs and I'm getting through top coat, 2 coats of color. This one, it has nail art, all the way down to that Trinity base coat. And it's just gliding off the product. You want to make sure that your client's hand is in an optimal position. Right now, she's back above the word SheMax. And in a moment, I'm going to move her hand forward so that you can see what happens. So she has a little bit of lifting here. So what I'm going to do is just gently feather above the lifting and just gently feather that thinner and thinner until it comes off. Is that warm at all? There we go. Now I'll move on to this one. Now Sheridan did warn me that this nail is very thin, so I'm using very light pressure, and that's because I don't know how thick the base is underneath, and I don't want to get down to her natural nail. I just want to remove the color and the base. Again, she has some lifting on the tip.
That is all coming off because we have to put an extension on it.
Okay, then I'm going to leave that because I know you'll get to it.
Yep.
Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my bits. You can see that the boa just creates this really fine shading. So I'm going to brush off all of my dust before I take the bit out. Then I'll change my bit. And now I'm going to go to the flush. Still working at 30,000 RPMs. And you can see this creates a more fine dust. So a little bit is bouncing back up on the client's hand, and it's even landing a little bit on my glove. I think that that's normal and nothing to be alarmed about. The dust collector is still doing its job, collecting the bulk of the dust. And as long as it's not flying at my face or my client's face, and it's just staying in this general area, we can take care of that dust at the end. I'll go to this hand. Now, to show you what will happen is if your client is being very helpful and they don't want you to have to stretch across, right here I'm stretched out, and so they get a little closer, what happens is the dust collector can no longer work as ideally. So a sun is landing here, it's going to start landing in my lap the closer she gets to me. So if this is your client, push them back. You want to be up above the word SheMax for the best collection, the best suction. And you can see there's just a little bit more dust. Like I said, we're going to be able to puff all that off into the machine. It's still not coming up toward my face. It's not going in my lap.
It's interesting to see it from this perspective because really there's like nothing right here. That's wild.
Perfect. For the last three, I'm going to switch to the Big Thunder. So I'm just going to dust off my machine before you take the bit out. We don't want dust to get down inside. This is all plastic. And when it gets down inside and all of these elements get hot in here, what can happen is it will seize all of the parts. So you want to make sure that this is as clean as possible. And then we switch out the bit. I can automatically feel the difference if this is a Big Thunder.
Yep.
Just in the way that it grips and the way that it removes. Ooh. So we have some lifting. Now, really quickly, if you are new to using an e-file and that has caught, what I want you to do is take a second. It's okay to pause for a moment, kind of clap off. You can even turn off your e-file and put it away and just make sure your client is safe, like that she wasn't alarmed or something. But by taking those moments, you're clearing the energy of the scare of like, oh, I caught some lifting, right? So clear the energy, then come back in and work on get that lifting off. So again, I'm feathering above the line of lifting. And now we got it all off. Sheridan will clean up the rest as she's doing the prep.
Ivana said, I have to say the SheMax is not as loud as it sounds in this video.
Interesting, so it sounds louder to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it isn't super loud. I can have a full conversation like with my client. I would, if Kayla's here, I could still hear her. Do you find that?
Yeah, I don't think it's loud at all. Ivana said it's probably because I'm super close. The fan is right here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if I go out here, it's not super loud.
I don't feel like I'm actually yelling around.
No.
I feel like I'm yelling so that the microphone gets me, but like talking to you, I'm not.
Yeah. I feel like when I'm with my clients, I'm a low talker, so I don't have to yell. I don't have to like feel like I have to turn it down.
Okay.
But it's loud when you're close with a microphone.
Yep.
Sorry.
So you can see the Big Thunder creates all of these. So the plush, if you remember, created like a dust, but you can see that the Big Thunder creates these bigger particles. So depending on the type of base you're removing, might also determine the bit that you are wanting to use so that it doesn't go chunking at your face. Okay, so what I would do is at the end of my service, I turn off my e-file, put it back in the cradle, and then I have my clients and myself tap off all of the dust into the machine. That way it's all collected right here, brush everything inside, and then you're good to go. Easy breezy. Then to empty it out, we've shown how to empty it out so many times. That you would knock off all of this dust while the machine is on, you would empty out the filter and take care of your filter. Now, we need to be changing our filter or emptying our filter after every client is ideal, but at least once per day. I realize that after every client, sometimes that's just not possible. If your client showed up early or if you're running behind, you only have room, time to clean up and wipe everything down, change your implements. So you might not be able to empty it, but you do need to empty it at least once per day. Don't allow the fibers in here to get all clogged because it will bog down your machine. So that is just something to keep in mind. All of these products that we talked about today are available at polishedpinkiespro.com. And as always, if you ever have any questions, contact us. We're happy to help. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.